Thank you, guys. We're going to open up the meeting of the Finance Committee for Wednesday, January 18th. Thank you. And tonight we have the town manager, John D'Agostino. Hey, John.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Everybody have a copy of the proposed budget fiscal year 2013. As I said earlier, but now I want to see on camera, we have tonight Michelle Christian Oldham and Sean Tyler will not be here tonight, and Barbara Christopher is running late, so she'll be here shortly. But we do have a quorum, so we can move along. John, throw it over to you.
We have the budget as required. We have ordered some additional binders. So what you have tonight is the preliminary budget in its aggregate by department. You know, personal services, purchase of services, supplies, and other charges and expenses. And as you read this, similar to last year's organization, it's the 11, if you look at the top on the budget, FY budget for discussion sheets, it's broken down in aggregate. So if you look at the 1130, you can then go to town meeting tab, or you can actually go to the total tab in the back, or actually for me it's in the back, but for you it'll break down for you with a narrative for FY13, where we are year to date as of December 31st, which is pretty much halfway through the fiscal year, even though it's the end of the calendar year. And you will see where we stand with respect to the 1130 department number, okay, from this 1130 aggregate sheet, the smaller sheets.
So the bigger sheets show the detail of the smaller sheet.
That's correct.
And the third column over department number is where you coincide with your...
That's the third column over?
1, 2, 3, yeah, department number?
Right, yes. That's correct. So the 1130, the 1220, 1310, Finance Committee, 1320, Reserve Fund. And you will see where we stand, not only from the standpoint of the FY11 line item and what is the FY12, but what is year-to-date expenditures as of 12/30/1/11, and what is proposed for the FY13 budget. And if you look at your detailed sheet, which is the larger sheets, you will also see FY10 actual. So the good news is that we were able to carry this process forward. We also added percentage increase on the smaller sheet. So you can look at the smaller sheet and see what the percentage increase was from FY12 to FY13. And if you're looking at what we have budgeted in FY12, you'll see that, for example, in town meeting it was 13,152. What's proposed for 13 is 25,435, which is approximately a 93.4% increase. So you're saying, why is that? And you can go to the town meeting, the 1130 department number, and you will see what comprises and makes up those total charges. You will see that we're talking about another 2 elections in 13 that are normally not there.
So it's going to take some time to kind of
navigate
around it.
We're not going to. I'm hoping we're not going to go over the budget tonight.
No, I don't. I think
got it.
I think it's more like we have to take it home and kind of digest it, navigate, put things in order and,
And I'm hoping it's a little bit easier for you. Next week you'll have your, I'm trusting that next week you will bring this complete document with you.
yes.
Or you can stop by the office and pick up the binder, which will have all of the tabs. And as you will see, if you look through, not only do you have, I'm hoping, because I haven't looked at this, you have a department breakdown, yeah, as well as an actual budget number. I mean, excuse me, as well as the entire detail. And the reason for that, and also what we're including this year, that we didn't include last year, is the school department budget, which you already
Always have.
have.
Yeah,
But it will be also, it'll also be part of the town budget, because it really is a town budget. It's part of the town budget, so.
so right now it's in this.
Right, but it will be.
Eventually it will be
it-
in a similar,
No.
No, it won't,
They're not-
okay.
No,
never,
No,
not
that's
there
not-
yet.
no, that's,
Okay.
that, although, they categorize differently,
Yeah,
and so
that's fine.
they could put it in our format, it'll take some time, but,
As long
Their
as this is
person-
understandable and.
right, and I think it is,
Yeah.
so. And that's where we stand.
Just one thing to mention, the breakdown by department starts at 1350.
It's way back.
It's in the back?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was wondering if they were off.
Halfway through.
So, just to recap, so we've got this, which is like your summary document.
Right,
And then we've got all these individual departments with the detail.
and you have the
And then there's
collective.
this one collective,
Right,
which is kind of a mixture between this and this, all put together on
that's correct.
one spreadsheet.
841 in the corner.
And then we have the school department budget in a different,
And that's, and if you look at the tab, well, when you get your tabs, you'll see school department as I have here, and I have the school department budget, which is not in the town format.
yeah, that's,
They, you know, because statutorily, we vote one number.
right.
But I, you know, if you look at what, if I can talk about what some of the drivers are in the FY
Yeah, that's a good
13
idea.
budget, pension costs, health insurance costs have not increased for FY 13. It's, however, as I talked to you before, we are going to be negotiating plan design changes, which increase co-payments. That's our first approach. There may be some discussion with the unions as to whether or not they want to go to a 60-40 split. In lieu of plan design, I'm open for any kind of dialogue that reduces, significantly reduces the operating expenses of the town and shifts some of the burden to the employee, whether it's a premium shift or a plan design shift. So we are going to, as we begin the budget process, I'm also going to be meeting with the department heads to go over their budgets. I will email to you and to the liaisons, as I have now a copy of the liaison
I can send you a
assignments.
soft copy of that too if you want, whatever. As long as you have it one way or another, you're good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm fine.
So you're gonna meet with the department heads.
We're going to set the budget process in place. We're going to start with the larger departments first, police, fire, highway. We'll probably do the enterprise accounts, water, sewer, and then we will go to the administrative, department budgets, town clerk, park and rec, and the rest of the departments. So we'll put,
And then also still like library and park and rec.
oh yeah, all of them, yeah.
We'll hit all those.
Yeah.
Um,
Every
And
one
when-
of them will be heard from.
When do you think you'll start with the meetings with the bigger departments? As soon as next week, or are we talking?
Well,
like
probably, now, I told
February?
you that this week
Okay.
we have the, I'll be leaving tomorrow to go to Boston for the conference. The governor will be addressing the conference.
Yes.
We do expect some preliminary numbers from him. in a handout. I'll make sure that that's also provided to the Finance Committee as to what the governor is looking at for local aid numbers. We will then begin meeting with the department heads probably middle of January during the day.
Middle of January or February?
No, the middle of January. We're going to be meeting.
Isn't that where we are now?
That is where we are now.
Yeah, about
Okay,
where
all
we
right.
are now. So next week, when I come back, I will set a schedule. We'll
Yes.
complete our department by department meetings with the town manager and the finance team by the middle of February.
Okay, yeah.
You will then be able to meet with the department heads individually between the middle of February to perhaps the middle of February, middle of March.
With you?
Yes.
Yes.
And then, we should be pretty much wrapped up as far as the budget review. I will then provide another budget recommendation. See, you'll have first draft, second draft,
Okay.
third draft, and then final draft
Yeah.
of the budget. And that final number will be a collaboration between the Finance Committee, the town, similar to what we did last year.
Right. Yeah,
I think
that
it worked
well.
out fairly well.
I think so, too. Yeah. Those of us who were here, I think we agreed that that worked
As
very
you-
well.
As you read through the budget, I'm going to say the budget for discussion, which is the aggregate budget, or you start looking through the detail, on the detail sheets, the larger sheets, these are what have been proposed by the departments. Now, much of what we have discussed and what we are going to plan on doing as far as the budgets will occur between January and the middle of February. If we're going to make changes to the budget, I will make those proposals to you so that, and we will then act accordingly as to whether or not we're in agreement as to how we're going to proceed with any of the budgets by department. We had talked about looking at filling a full-time position at Council on Aging versus the 2 part-time people we have now. That may increase costs as far as healthcare benefits are concerned. We have to analyze whether or not it is prudent for us to proceed in that direction in light of the fact that we may increase costs for healthcare, but at the same time, healthcare costs are going down as a result of plan design changes. We're estimating a reduction in the healthcare line item to be approximately 7%.
And so had that discussion...
With plan design.
Not about plan design, but about a 1 full-time position as opposed to the 2 part-time positions at Council on Aging. That discussion has occurred with...
Just the Finance
Oh, all
Committee
right.
and us.
Okay, not with them
I
directly.
have not
All right.
discussed that with the department heads
Okay.
as of yet.
I just worry about something going
Well,
on, yeah, so...
we have talked about it very, briefly, but I have to look at where we stand as far as revenue is concerned, where we stand as far as expenditures are concerned, and where we can achieve levels of efficiency. We talked a little bit about the trash budget. We cut back last year, not only in our budget, operating budget expenses, but we also reduced our nurse outreach budget for nursing, which was almost twice as much, if not
Right.
3 times as much as some of the area communities. When we had the same vendor, we were just, no one ever went out to bid, no one ever looked at those costs to any measurable degree. We did, and we were able to renegotiate a new contract that was almost half, if not less than that, or more than that.
With very comparable
Yeah,
services.
with comparable services from other communities. So we were able to reduce those costs. We're going to be looking at the budget more stringently as we go forward. At the same time we're doing this, we're also preparing for the implementation of KVS with a budget module. Now, what has always been strange to me is that We are operating our budget process outside of the Oracle platform. KVS developed the Oracle platform in 2004, integrated it into its budget modules. Now, we own the budget modules, so we don't ever pay for any upgrades. The only cost that we are going to incur if we stay with KVS is the $35,000 cost, which I talked to you about, which was $7 a license for Oracle, 50 licenses, $35,000.
Is there a reason that we're operating outside of Oracle?
I guess the old budget formats with KVS were something that the previous town accountant did not like, and that was in 2004. But since 2004, they've upgraded those platforms so they're more user-friendly. We get a number of reports, and we just haven't used the modules because we hadn't paid for the upgrade to Oracle. So there were a couple of reasons for it, but I've made the decision that based on the information flow and the amount of additional information that we're going to have and what we can analyze and how we can project future trends, it's well worth a $35,000 investment to get that kind of information. And any of the upgrades to the modules would we get free of charge because of the company policy and the fact that we've been a customer with KVS since 1999. The company started in '98. So we've been a lifelong customer of KVS. It doesn't make sense for us to migrate to another software package at this point if most of our information is KVS based. So they're going to come in, they're going to do training. We've negotiated a price for Oracle, the 2-day implementation of Oracle. We are testing a new standalone system, hardware system to accommodate the new Oracle-based KVS program. And so we're beginning the implementation process. That's where we stand.
Okay. John, just briefly, can you tell us, based on the proposed budget that we have here, what direction did you give the department heads in creating
I
this?
think we talked about this. When you look through the budget process, you'll see some numbers for department head adjustments. It's not system-wide. I've asked the department heads in their budget to present to me what they think they need as far as the expenditure portion of their budget is concerned. So the majority of the changes in the budget really focus on expenditures. Depending upon how much we are going to save by going either with the healthcare plan design changes or some different accommodation of changes in healthcare, we are going to utilize those savings to make some adjustments in some of the salaries. The majority of adjustments will be a percentage increase. There will be some adjustments, and we'll discuss why and the reason for those adjustments, and we can come to a collaborative conclusion as to what we can support as far as salary adjustments are concerned. I'll make a proposal, we'll sit and talk about it and see what the Finance Committee, Board of Selectmen feel.
Did anyone else have a question?
I just looked over this way. No?
On the salary increases, one of the articles that we had at the last town meeting, will that be similar to what you're proposing, or is it more across the board, or is it just a?
It's going to be more across
Are you
the
trying
board
to-
with an ability to fund. So it's not, this is what we would like without having some sort of a funding mechanism. That funding mechanism will be from within the operating budget based on the savings that we are going to incur with healthcare. The increase that we are proposing will be less than, personnel-wise, would be less than what our total savings is going to be with respect to the healthcare option. I'll use it as an option because we are going to make a proposal. Hopefully, we can dialogue with the unions collectively to some sort of an agreement as to whether or not we're going to implement plan design or look at some kind of shift in the premium that's going to help us save the number that we need to save in order to sustain these types of increases, not only in salary but also in additional personnel. So there are two approaches when we talk about personnel. We're talking about an increase in employees, and we're talking about a salary adjustment. Some of that would, the majority of that salary adjustment would be a percentage increase, and some of it would be in relationship to making some sort of adjustments in certain departments.
One of the things we had discussed back in the fall was you were looking into doing an analysis for those positions that you had felt were, how is that going?
We have completed, some of the salary surveys and analysis, if that, I think that's what you're referring to. And we will be able to, when we get to and drilling down to the budget pieces, and we're talking about looking at comparable position to comparable
Pay, salary,
Compensation.
benefits, compensation.
towns within within this region.
Yeah.
That, in other words, we're not going to be at the high end, we're not going to be at the low end, but we're going to be somewhere.
We're not going
in
to
the
compare to like,
Brookline?
Yeah. Compare to someone. But that's the point, is that, and then that's part of what you're saying, is because there was discussion about, instead of just giving salary increases, really doing a survey of what the right, what a position should be paid for.
Well, I think you had done a survey of a couple of
two
positions,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I think we did assessors and town.
We did assessor and town
Tax
collector
collector,
treasurer.
right.
And
We made some adjustments
we made
there.
some adjustments there. What you'll see in the FY13 budget is that final, it was a two-step adjustment.
Yep.
Yeah, yes.
And so you'll see that what we had agreed to as far as what
Right.
that salary should be, because
We'll see that
the
in
board
the-
had agreed, we had agreed that we're going to take
A portion.
an incremental step rather than a full swoop step.
Right.
And you'll see the second portion of that incremental adjustment in the FY13 budget
But then
for those
outside,
two positions.
and then outside of that, we were looking at salary analysis for other positions that.
That is correct. And when we make a proposal to you, when we're final on that number, we will provide you with the analysis that brings us to that conclusion, along with as backup documentation.
Thank you.
With regard to those increases, now, the ones that you did incrementally over, period of time, will you be including those in percentage increases, or will it be flat as initially stated? In other words, will you cross those?
The percentage adjustment will not exceed what I believe we're getting as far as Proposition 2.5 is concerned. So if we're looking at a percentage increase, probably the increase would be between 2 and 2.5% on a percentage basis. For those department heads that we believe need to have an adjustment, we're going to be looking beyond that. We're going to be looking at the salary survey adjustment. We're going to be looking at comparable communities within this area. We'll take the veteran agent, for example. We have a 7-area, if I can remember correctly, a 7-area town survey of what full-time veteran agents are getting, because their positions are statutorily driven. Their job descriptions in each of the communities are the same because the statute requires them to do X, Y, and Z. Now, just as a historical perspective, when you look at the position, for example, of the veteran agent, our current veteran agent is making less than, as a department head, making less than a full-time clerk's position as far as salary is concerned. So there is an imbalance there. We need to look at that in relationship to the position itself. The individual at some point is going to be retiring. That is going to be a concern, because we're going to look at that adjustment in relationship to potentially taking on an additional increase in pension, because this adjustment should have been done up front. It wasn't. People were brought on at different levels for a variety of different reasons, none of which really makes sense to me. So that's a consideration that we're going to have to try to wrestle with. In addition to that, what should that salary be? Now, looking at the survey information that we have, it's pegged at X number of dollars. That number is in the budget. The salary information will be forthcoming, and we'll sit down and we'll look at it and we'll say, okay, and this is something that I wanted to do with a personnel board, but we never got to that because it didn't pass a town meeting. And so while I have this information, it's best to share it with who? Probably the Finance Committee. I could share that with the Personnel Board, and they can make a recommendation to the Finance Committee about where we are, what we're doing, and why we're making these adjustments. But that piece of it has not yet materialized.
Okay. More specifically, though, regarding the couple of positions that you did already do the salary survey for, that you decided to do incrementally based on over a number of years or months or whatever that determination was.
For the two positions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Will you be applying a percentage increase to those already predetermined rates?
I don't believe so, not at this point.
Okay.
No.
And then additionally, when you do percentage-based increases, if there has been an increase during the year, do you prorate those?
I don't understand the question fully.
So say you have an individual that gets a bump in their salary for whatever reason, let's say in June. Would you prorate that so they wouldn't get the full percentage, but only the percentage to which would
Oh, I see
apply
what you
to the
mean.
entire year?
The only people that we are talking about for salary adjustments are those that are outside of the collective bargaining agreement, which is about 12, 15 people. They have, some of those individuals have not received any, they're not part of a STEP program or a STEP increase program, they're not part, so they wouldn't have any adjustments in their salary midterm. And some of them haven't had an adjustment for 3 years.
Okay.
So those are the individuals that we are talking about. If you're a union employee in this contract, in this budget, if there is the anticipated step increase, those step increases you'll see in those positions that are unionized.
Thank you.
But I don't know if that answers your
Yes,
question.
it does. Thank you.
John, you brought up the Personnel Board article from last year. Is that's going to be revisited again in April? Is
Yeah.
that correct? Okay, good. I did have one question. Anybody have any questions or comments?
There's a lot of information,
Sure.
probably more, probably a similar volume of information that you had last year. When you look at these detail sheets in relationship to the budget discussion sheet, the smaller sheets, those numbers, I believe, coincide with the detailed
Hopefully.
sheets. If they don't, we will look at those and get answers as to why they don't. If we pretty much went through the detail sheets with the department heads, and so their numbers, last year, you remember, we had a huge email exchange regarding a department and whether or not those numbers lined up, and they were
Oh, yeah,
one
there was a
column
line
off,
off.
they were
We remember.
one row off, and I think
remember.
And astute.
It was a copy paste.
Finance committee member was able to make that observation pretty clearly.
Speaking kind of along those lines, and somewhat off track, but not really, interim town accountant, how are things going?
The interim town accountant put all this information together. We had the prior accountant come in because that's part of the arrangement until we can get to a more integrated software package. And hopefully by the beginning of FY12, we'll have a KVS integrated, fully Oracle database-driven finance package, treasurer package. We'll integrate that with the assessor's system that they have, that they're running for their assessments, so that all of our information for the very first time will be completely integrated. The budget input will be the same for each department as it is currently, but now these documents are driven or produced through I want to say Lotus, but it's Excel.
Excel, right.
Right. And so this data is going to have to be converted
Yeah.
and input into, so that we can establish a historical base. As you see now, when you look at this, we have FY10, FY11, proposed FY12, year-to-date FY12. So when you look at the year-to-date column, you'll be able to look at what was appropriated in FY12, how they're spending their money in that level of appropriation, and what has been proposed for FY13. So it gives us a lot more information than we had last year, and so each year we're going to try to build on that so we finally get to a document that any of us can pick up at any point in time and understand and look at the format, see what's expended, what was historically expended for those similar line items, and as we continue this format, budget format, you remember that in a couple of years we just had numbers that were total numbers.
Right.
That weren't broken out.
Right.
Now they've been broken out for a couple of years now.
Start to compare.
And so now you can compare a better trend of expenditure than we've been able to do in the past.
And then there's some consistency as to where we're capturing some information, whereas
That's
in the
correct.
past, something might have been captured under one thing, now that we're consistently putting it under something else. You get a history.
That's correct.
Perfect
And
sense.
that'll be very helpful. So you're not just looking at one number, you're looking at a more accurate number for that particular item in the budget, and now it's being presented also in a new format, in the sense that we're looking at what was appropriated in FY12 and what is requested in FY13, and that's where you get your percentage increase. In some cases, you're all over the place with the increases.
Yeah.
Town council increased 45%. The 11/30 town meeting numbers increased 93.4% because there have been 2 elections that were added. And all of that will be explained to you, but you'll have this information in advance of not only the meetings that I'm going to have with department heads, but when you meet with the department heads, you're going to have a largely better understanding of the budget.
When are the 2 elections, John? Someone asked me that today.
When?
March, the town election is one in, I think, in June. I don't know, there's two added elections.
And they're making it two,
One is March.
is that a primary? Massachusetts, no, that would.
No, you can't.
I know that there was something, that they were making us have 2 separate instead of
Combined.
combined.
I think it's March and, I want to say June, but let me see what it says here.
Isn't our normal one, our normal town one,
Usually.
isn't that in April, or
April.
No, I
our
think
town
it's
meeting
usually-
is in April?
I think it's usually in June, I think is the,
Yeah.
is it?
She's gonna need an additional $8,000
Right.
this year.
This year.
Right.
Because they wouldn't, because
Because
we
they
can't do
wouldn't
it
combine
separately,
it.
they couldn't combine it.
Understood. We'll just have to find the details of what we're voting on and when.
Okay.
One quick side,
Oh, there's also general code update. 2,500 bucks. Well, it's been in FY '13.
All right, you'll do it, okay.
It wasn't in FY '12. Oh, no, it was, although it was 2,000 in FY '11. There's nothing, so every other year they have general code updates. There's also, I don't know if I can really tell quickly from this reading here. 5,000. Went from 5,000 to FY '13, 5,000, $125 for elections. In FY '12, we had 700 and, no, we had 22. I don't know, I can't
That's okay.
answer that.
Deb said she'll get in touch with Linda and find out what's
I think
on the
there's-
docket for coming up.
There's two elections that we did not budget. One of them that we have to pay for
Yeah,
in a reserve fund transfer, that we know. And the other, I think, is something where they were gonna combine two elections into one.
and now
And
they're
they
not.
decided to keep the two elections separate. When we budgeted in FY
We thought they would be.
'11, we thought that they could be combined for in FY '12, we thought they would be combined and they weren't.
And will we get some funding to help with that, or they're not going to?
Yeah,
do
we
that?
will, but it's gonna be well after the expenses incurred. So it'll be like a reimbursement. It'll net out to free cash for us.
The following fiscal year, probably. Okay, so we'll get some details on that. Deb, you said you'll find out and provide. Thank you.
Good.
So we have a bunch of things to look through. We'll bring these back next week,
Yeah, please bring it
And
back,
every
because
week
you'll have.
thereafter.
and every week
you'll have
thereafter,
binders,
until
yeah.
they're updated.
Yeah.
Put your names on them. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to go through them, because we really haven't had any opportunity to review or digest them.
No, you
So-
haven't, but, and if there are any questions, I'm always available through email, or give me a call and I'll meet with you if you like, independently.
And we would just want to
As I do,
caution,
I mean, some people call and
yeah,
I do want a meeting with you.
we would just want to caution any information that we get, we just want to make sure we do in a public forum, you know, to be on the safe side of things. Any discussions that we have about the budget should be in a public forum.
Oh, sure.
This-
No, but
I'm just saying
if you had
that
a
for the
particular
outs- for
question
the
on the
world.
budget line. or
Yeah,
something,
then we can get detailed, then we
Yeah.
talk about it after the fact,
Right.
that's all. We don't do any
Just relaying to the group.
yeah, we don't do anything via email, except just information passing. All right, well, on our agenda, that's pretty much what we had down to cover. Getting the preliminary budget, reviewing, talk sort of about the timeline. The next step on this is, you're gonna be meeting with the department heads. You're gonna let us know when, if
I'm
we
gonna
can
give
attend,
you
we
a-
will.
Yeah.
And then we'll follow up after you've had your meetings, which we are welcome to attend, and we'll have public meetings here with you and
Like we did last year.
Like we did last year.
I thought that was a good
I thought so too.
process.
And we should hopefully, once you have your meeting set up, we'll set up our meeting so that we can put it on our agenda, so people know when we're meeting with whichever departments. We'll put together a schedule with that, with the anticipation of wrapping our meetings with you and them up by mid-March or so.
Yeah,
So we have an
there's
opportunity.
really not gonna be a huge rush, because the numbers from the state
Yeah,
are
we don't
not gonna
have,
come out by the time we have our meeting, and
in
so
April, right?
for the majority of financial articles, we're gonna probably push them off until we have better numbers.
We tend to do that, and you have to.
Excuse me,
Okay.
yeah, and I do think that, like I said before, we do have some money identified for the commitments that we have made
Good.
from overlay for the tricentennial, and that's obviously a
Yep.
discussion that we're gonna have going
Right.
forward. But also with respect to the $7,000 we owe the school committee or school department for that bus transportation
Right.
fee. And to
The out-of-district.
the out-of-district
Yeah.
bus, and also for the cost of funding the interim account.
Interim account, right.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to, just on the accounting piece for a minute, because I think that this is important. I'm gonna begin to make an effort to begin to advertise and fill that position as soon as we can.
Yeah,
Because I'm spending $110 an hour versus whatever I could be spending if I filled the position.
Right.
So,
Are you gonna try and do that so that
Sooner
it will,
rather than later.
well, I'm thinking for the budget, for the 2013, to budget for that, for the 2013
Mhm.
budget.
Yeah.
and potentially impact the 2012 budget
Right.
too, I hear
It
you
will,
saying.
Yeah, right. That's correct.
Good. Well, that would be, yeah, the sooner the better, bring somebody in that we
Mhm.
can start, you know,
Yeah.
building a relationship with and,
And I think that what I'm gonna do with the hiring process is, it's gonna be, I'm more of a collaborative type
yeah.
decision maker, so I would ask for the board to consider having one member of the finance committee on the interview team for the town clerk, the
Town
town
accountant.
accountant's position.
Okay. Right, well, let's see, like, see where you get on that, and then let us know when you want
Yeah, I
to have
think
somebody
I
available.
want that. I'm gonna
Okay.
want somebody from the finance committee on that.
Okay. And probably somebody from the Board of Selectmen as well. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not.
I don't know, it's,
It's up to you. I mean,
Yeah.
You don't, and you don't have to do this, you're just offering it up, which is very nice.
right,
Like, you could just make a decision
yeah,
on your own,
yeah.
but it's very nice that you want to bring other opinions.
I think it's important to do that, even though the position allows
Yes.
me to do that. I think it's always better to have buy-in from those, and like, the interview team would consist of the collector treasurer, the finance team members, who work
Directly
day-to-day
with this person.
with that person, so it's better to have somebody that everyone agrees with and can support and
That makes sense.
work with, and so that person will succeed. And that's what's important about hiring you can hire anybody.
Sure.
You want to hire somebody that has buy-in and support of those important players that work with that position.
And you want those who are going to be working with them to feel vested in that decision
Mhm.
as well,
Oh, yeah.
so that they,
It usually happens when they're involved.
it does.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I would imagine we would be in favor of being part of that.
Okay.
So,
Think about it, let me
I will,
know.
I think so. All right, anything else anybody wants to bring up or discuss, or? Okay.
Oh, I did have a quick question, just from some information from last week. Do you know what the percent increase, the Plymouth County, from them extending the
To
fully
funding?
funded to 2030 instead of 2040? There was going to be an increase on the budget due to that. Do you know what the percent increase was, or how much of an increase it was, or a ballpark? And if you don't know that today, even
I
just
can
for next
find
week,
out.
it's not, I don't need it
I
right
knew it,
now.
I knew it a couple of weeks ago. Let me just bring this thing up, so bad if I find it out.
I guess I'm even just looking, do you think it was an exorbitant number, or
It's pretty high.
pretty high?
I want to say it's about 1,928,000 from 1,700,000 and some odd thousand. So,
To fund earlier. to
Right, it's
fund the
about
pension, yeah.
almost a $270,000 increase.
Yeah.
Oh, again, I'll
Well,
find
you
out
have
the
no
numbers.
control over that, I know that.
It's a nice iPad, Joe.
Yeah, isn't it? I paid for it myself.
You can't
Came
Google
out
on
of,
it right now,
out of
though,
the
right?
D'Agostino household budget.
Right? Can you?
From the
You
sales
can't Google
report,
right
though.
now.
No, Wikipedia's now.
Yeah.
Wikipedia's down on Google.
Google went
My
black
kids-
over the logo.
My kids thought that Google was-
Okay, well, while you're searching for that.
I don't have it, I'm just writing my notes.
All right. All right, so then, so John, I think we appreciate what you've brought to the table tonight,
Okay.
and we'll review it, and we'll be back here next week doing more of it.
Yeah, if I get that information, I'll send out to everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
that'd be good.
The issue, I can send out the information,
Oh, yeah.
just don't start deliberating.
Yeah, we just
over it.
don't, right, that's right.
And if you have a comments you want to make to me, you can do that
Yeah.
by sending it to me. Don't hit the all, send all button.
Yeah.
Reply
that-
all,
that
forward
means you're
all, any of that,
deliberating.
right.
That's right.
When, you know. we
I
can
hate
discuss
to bring that up, because I
anything.
know we've been through it a million times, but it's just always good to
always
just kind of
worth
say, we don't
just-
deliberate on email.
Well, we do have new
because-
members, and
Yeah, and there's always
there
new
is an
stuff.
issue when you hit the all, send all button.
Reply to all.
Yeah, reply to all.
Do not reply to all.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
all right, well, thanks, John. Appreciate it, lots of work. Thank you to, what's your name, is it Barbara?
Yeah, Barbara, also
She did-
Nancy, and put some of this information together.
Oh, thanks.
Mistake on the binders, but, you know,
That's
hopefully,
all
as finance committee members, you're gonna get binders out of it, you know, so, hey,
Who's
it's a
paying?
good thing.
Are those in the budget?
Yeah, I don't think binders are gonna break us.
Okay, awesome, great. And you brought up a good point. I think I just put myself on a to-do thing to ask the tricentennial committee to come in sometime before the April meeting and let us know how they're
How they're
fundraising.
progressing.
Because I think they also have they have a trivia night coming up on January 28th,
Oh, and that's one of the things I'm supposed to ask you, to see
if we're gonna
if
have a team.
the finance committee is willing to put a team together. I know that
Yeah,
you were very close to finishing first last time you were.
we were so
involved in
close to the
training.
end.
I
was amazing.
couldn't have fallen
How
off
close
the
we
bottom
were.
of it myself.
That we
If
might
it
have-
wasn't for the Shea family, Liz and Joe Shea, who are really
You would
good
have been
at
stuck.
remembering all kinds of information.
I have heard
Yeah.
rumor that there's gonna be an Abington trivia section of it. So
I heard that same rumor.
Wow.
So bulk up on your Abington town knowledge. But I can send an email out. Personally, I don't know if I'm going to be around that weekend or not. I may not, but if anybody's interested, I will send an email and see if you guys are interested in forming a team, because I think they're still looking for teams.
Well, they're looking,
They want-
for a number of, maybe Cracker's son can get Cracker to come. He's a plethora of information as far as history. If there's going to be a
Yes, Cracker is
section
awesome.
on Abington, he probably wrote it at some point in time. So but Chad can get a hold of Cracker and
I'll call. I won't be there.
encourage him. Why would
You won't, you're
want it?
busy that
I'm
weekend?
away that weekend.
It is the weekend of the 28th, by the way, for those.
Wow.
We better find some other members to bulk up our
Alright.
team.
We might have to call Paul Joyce, one of the old members.
Break out the old members. Terry Mays.
Bring back some of your old
See what-
members.
yeah,
That would
Katie,
be- that would
we'll
be
see what we
helpful.
can
Yeah,
do.
Katie.
All right, we'll see what we can do. We'll send out an email, which we'll put the feelers out and see what we can find. So between that, and then they also have the gala scheduled for March 3rd, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So
I think,
there's
it
that-
might not be a bad idea to get him to come in and give an update to the
Yeah,
board of
maybe like
selectmen.
after those two
You know,
things and
yeah,
before the
yeah.
April meeting, just so people can have a sense of what's coming, what's going on, so.
Yeah, I'm working on trying to get a little button on the, see, I can't do this, I thought I could, but on a town website, the logo, and you can press on the logo and go right to
Their
the,
site.
their website with all their activities.
We can't do that, Lang?
I
Trying to work in it?
I can't make those kinds of changes, that has to
Need a
be made
webmaster.
by the company,
Oh,
Virtual Town Hall.
okay.
The budget
that's
will slowly and surely begin to appear
Mhm.
on the website as we get to finalize the numbers. We're not put up the preliminary budget in either the second draft or the first draft.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, well, John, thank you very much. Thanks for coming. We'll see you,
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
we'll see you next week, same time?
Next week,
Same
same
place?
time. Yep, it's a
It's-
weekly occurrence.
It's full-on budget season now.
Yeah.
All right, woohoo, okay, awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll go as smooth as it did last year. I'm sure. Okay.
Chickens
All right,
before
thanks.
the
Yeah.
all of that.
I hope you feel better, John.
Take care.
Be well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good
Okay,
night, thank you.
awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, moving along. Next on the agenda was whether, I don't know if I got any feedback on when the Abington School Building Committee was going to be meeting. Has anyone heard that?
You know what, I did not call him today. I probably
That's your charge.
fell down on that.
Are you the school committee
I am.
liaison?
No, I'm not the school committee, I'm the school committee.
School committee liaison?
Yes, I am.
All right, Barbara, you need to find out that first. I did send an email, and it's very possible that Peter emailed me back, but it's been a crazy week, so.
I think they've had a crazy week at schools, too.
Yeah, they had some flooding and some finals and all kinds of fun stuff. All right, so you're gonna find that out first. That's again, they're forming a committee to review school buildings for Abington, and they wanted to obviously have one of us as a member there. But before we can really kind of throw it out and appoint or get volunteers for a member, we kind of want to know when they're gonna meet, whether it's in the middle of the
Day
day.
or nighttime.
Or evenings.
Weekends, or,
So Barbara, you're gonna figure that out for
I
us.
will.
Thank you very much. Liaison reports. I'll step in here. I can tell you, I spoke with, well, via email, Michelle Christian Oldham, and I can tell you that she is meeting with Chief Majensky on Tuesday. I don't know what time. So, so they'll be meeting, and we'll have something hopefully from her next Wednesday. And Cindy, you had?
I talked to Deb Grimmett yesterday at the library.
Yep.
And we've tentatively set a tour for February 2nd at 6 o'clock, which is the night that she'll be working. So she's just, if it changes, we just gotta let her know, but she's gonna try to get one or two of the trustees to be there as well. And then she talked a little bit about what she's put into her budget, and she said that you will see a slight increase, and that's basically because they don't wanna have to apply for a waiver if they don't have to this year, because it would be the 4th year running.
Was it an increase in expenditures? Is that what she said? Or
I think part of
salaries?
it is probably, it's more expenditures than anything. And she's gonna submit it, she said it's about 6 or 7% more than last year. But that will allow them to open on Wednesday nights. It will offer them they can put more programming in. They'll have additional access to the Copeland room. She said there's a lot of people that want to be able to use that room that
Yeah.
they've had to turn away. The reference librarian will probably, her hours won't increase, but they'll be able to maybe free up 1 or 2 people to help her occasionally, in case she's not there, with direction, of course. And so they're just trying to grow SMART back to where they were. And she also wanted to make note that the public should know that they've gotten new computers in there. If anybody hasn't seen them, they've got 13, and they all came from
Wow.
donations.
That's
great.
incredible.
Cindy, was that, if they get the waiver?
This is the increase is so they don't have to apply for a waiver.
Okay.
So, and she said it's just,
So they're not filing?
they're hoping to not have to. If they can
Okay.
get what they put into the budget, which is a little bit more than last year, about
Okay.
6% more, they will not have to apply for a waiver.
Right.
So that was Deb's, and I talked to...
Did you have a question on that?
Oh, sorry.
No, no.
Okay, keep
Oh,
going.
sorry, and then I talked to Chief Nuttall and got a little bit of information from him. His budget's gonna also be up. And he said about 200, a little bit more than 200,000, but we have to remember that 100,000 of that is the cost to go to Holbrook for a full year. And the remainder of it, well, the majority of the remainder is gonna be, it's contractual items. And he has several other things kind of on the fire with regard to warrant articles. A couple of them are going to be contractual. And we also have to look at the air bottle replacement at some point. They all have the 15, I think he talked to us. And they're all due
Yeah,
to be replaced. So he wanted to,
He did.
he put all of that together and had a nice presentation.
Some
And
of the old
they'll
system.
both go over all of that when they meet with us, I guess in February or March, whenever John schedules them.
Okay, I met with Linda today, and her only concern is the $8,000 she's gonna need for that election.
So this is Linda Adams, town clerk.
Linda
yeah.
Adams, yes.
It's
8,000?
8,000
Yeah.
increase to this year's budget?
Right, she's probably gonna ask for a reserve fund transfer
For that whole 8,000?
for the whole 8,000. And then, I
Does she know
contact-
when she would do that? I'm sorry, does she know when she would request that transfer?
No, I didn't
Okay,
ask.
all right, I was just wondering when we would have met and potentially see that, that's all.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I talked to Kenan today, and he's meeting with John on Tuesday,
Oh, good.
so he wants me to contact him after that, and he'll give me more about his budget.
Okay.
And as far as the tour, he said after the Super Bowl.
And the snow?
After the Super Bowl, and hopefully there'll be no more snow. There'll still continue to be no snow, hopefully. Though my kids will kill me for saying that. Awesome, so he's, how's he feeling about there being very little snow?
I don't
So,
know,
yeah.
you know, maybe we should, like she said earlier tonight, maybe we should get one of those every year.
Oh, yeah, put in an authorization to buy a piece of equipment and then we don't get snow. I like that.
Is
All
there a
right.
return policy on that then?
You people are all saying that. Now
Yeah,
you know what's gonna
stop
happen,
it.
right? 'Cause-
Stop. Yeah,
We're
yeah.
jinxing it.
Exactly,
You
they're
know what's
predicting
coming.
Thursday
Morning.
night into Friday morning already, so,
Logan shut down.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
come
we
on.
have-
Nothing will happen
Bound.
on Friday, only Saturday.
Yeah, no
Right,
snow for
right.
now.
We need to get out.
All right, well, those are some good updates. Anything else? If anyone wants to tie Chad into their department head meetings, whatever you're interested in, let us know.
VOTEC would be one that I'd love to get on.
That would be fabulous.
I will-
That's right, that's your alma mater, right?
It is.
And who is that? Well,
That's
it's probably me.
I
I was like, well,
will-
it's
No, it's
probably
me, I will gladly, we can like hook up and, they're looking, actually,
It's you and Sean,
I
right?
did have
Yeah.
two questions. If we could get some, can we pick some tentative tour dates maybe for VOTEC and the Abington Public Schools? Does everyone like have their calendars and maybe we can look and see if
I have a
there's any?
calendar out. It's not mine. It's- Yeah, Sean, that's it.
The other
Sean will
thing
be
too,
fine,
just
yeah.
while I was thinking of it, Maureen, is,
I'll talk to Sean. Say again?
the other thing just that I was thinking of while we were talking was, if we could mention to John or the department heads, or have John mention to the department heads, if they have articles, you know, when they come,
Yeah,
if they have articles, if it's possible to go over them then, when we're going over their budget, instead
Absolutely.
of having to
bring them in.
have them
but-
come back in, because we then realize that they have an article on the warrant. If
Yes.
we could do that all at the same
Is the warrant
visit.
open?
February,
Okay, it's not
See.
open yet. Okay,
I have it in my calendar as,
probably have an email. So, yeah, so I'll send a note to John reminding him that when we meet with the department heads, if they have any articles on the warrant, be prepared to speak to those as well.
I have that the town meeting warrant opens on February 1st. It's a Wednesday.
All right, that makes sense. We'll be meeting by then. Okay, perfect. February 1st, our warrant opens.
And then, are there any days, and I know everybody works, so are there any days that anyone wants to throw out during the day that might work for anyone?
I've got February 1st or 2nd.
February 1st or
Usually the beginning of
2nd?
a month is good for me.
Okay. Is the...
And February 2nd is the library tour, though, keep that in mind.
It's okay.
Okay. Wednesday the 1st, is that good for anybody during the day? Or either...
I can probably make anything happen as long as, you want to shoot, anyone have any problem with that day? I mean,
During the day, would that be...
Tour of the schools?
Would you,
of the,
you can try.
we're talking about
If you
Sasha
can't- And
Votek
if you
here?
can't, it's not...
I'll try.
If, you know, try, if everyone wants to try and...
Is this for the Abington schools or Sasha Votek?
Why don't we do VOTEC first?
Yes,
I'm just
yeah.
thinking because their budget is out.
Yeah, that would be good. Maybe we
Um,
can do the schools after February vacation or something. Just gotta spread these things out.
Spread it
A little
out.
bit.
So, if we could,
Okay.
if everyone wants to try and see what they can do about February 1st.
Around what time do we know?
Yeah, that's gonna be social VOTEC.
Yeah. We're gonna try to schedule a tour for
I
Sasha
know
Votek
school
on
starts
February
at
1st.
something like 7:30, but we wouldn't need
So
to...
what around, what are they looking for, like afternoon?
Morning, will this mornings work for everyone? Get it done in the morning? Say 9 o'clock,
Earlier.
earlier?
But I,
I can
Would
do
earlier be better? 8:30?
earlier works better for me.
8:30?
8:30 is fine.
8:30?
probably better for me than just going to work.
I can't-
And then I'll go and
I
work
can't
later.
make it on a Wednesday.
Can't do a Wednesday?
We can do another one.
Another what?
He'll do more than one, so whoever we can get for the first, we'll get, and then we can do another one, pick another day, and it won't be a Wednesday, because Rick can't make a Wednesday.
Okay.
So we'll pick a
I'm taking
different day.
computer class at the senior center.
Oh, good for you.
All right. Well, so then we'll pick another day, and whoever can't make it the first, maybe they can make it that, we'll try and work
That,
out
like
another
a
day that's
Friday or
not a
something.
Wednesday.
Mhm.
All right, so
Okay.
I will see what he can do for February 1st at 8:30.
Yep.
Okay.
And then tell them that we'd want another one too. for those who
And
can't
I
make
will
that day.
tell him that
Maybe a different date.
also have a second date to be determined. But it won't be a Wednesday.
Okay. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Any other liaison reports or tour schedules, or I think we've done a nice job of hitting those? Okay, we'll follow up on those. Review of minutes. Deb had our minutes here from our January 11th meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? All right, we're good, because we were all here. Yay, yay, thank you, thanks Deb. All right, other things on the agenda. We're really running through this. Review minutes, liaisons. The only thing, I actually didn't check the correspondence. Did anyone happen to check that?
Want me to run in there?
Sure, you know where it
I
is,
checked
right?
it. There isn't anything.
There isn't?
Oh,
Oh,
there
all
wasn't.
right,
Cindy
excellent.
checked.
So Cindy checked. All right, well then, having said that, we have actually covered our agenda. Anything anyone wants to bring up? Nope. Let's see if I have
Motion to-
anything.
Sure.
No, that's, I just was gonna touch trivia night, the 300th anniversary gala. That's it, okay. Motion to adjourn, anybody?
Motion to adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn, we got a second, all those in favor? All right, excellent, thank you guys. Let me go shut this off.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you.
Thank you.